Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Well, I got on my thumbnail. Fate sealed. No chance. Bodycams. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Utah raid. The Utah raid. Also, we're going to talk about Trump's defense and what's going on with that. And you heard him say, I don't do preview. The best defense is a good offense. So, with that in mind, and I'm sure the baddies have that in mind also, I'm going to discuss first off the bat. Let's see who all's coming in. Let me move this over so I got a darker screen, and I'll see who's coming in tonight. Hi, B-Dog, Jersey Joe, Tennessee. Thank you for helping out last night, buddy. I appreciate it. With the Buy Me a Coffee sponsoring the show. I didn't get a chance to, I didn't see it before I signed out. So anyway, I'll always try to thank people on air. Hi, Mike. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Marla. Sin, how are you doing? Joan, Kim. Nice to see everybody. Jersey Joe. Everybody roll in. Hi, Sharon. Well, I'll tell you what. I got on the screen there, I got a blast from the past, Robert Reich. I haven't seen him in I don't know how many years. And it's going to tie into what I'm talking about. Now, if you are on the fence, tuning in just to see what this show is about, you might want to pay attention. Because things are happening to, number one, make people realize we're on a crazy train. Number two, to make people start thinking about getting off that crazy train. Okay? It'll make sense. If somebody is genuine, wants to pay attention, if somebody doesn't like Trump, fine, put it in the comments. We'll say something about it. If you don't like somebody who wants to secure the border, fine, put it in there. If you don't like somebody that wants to stop young people from having their bodies permanently altered, surgically or chemically, fine. But as long as you're civil in the chats, if you know, he's the only one that's going to stop this, the only one that can. But anyway, this person here, Robert Reich, he was in the both Clinton administrations, and he promulgated the term corporate welfare. Corporate welfare, insinuating that the government was doing corporations a favor by not taxing their eyeballs out of their head. We're giving you welfare because we're not taking as much as we could. That makes about as much sense as windshield wipers on a donkey's backside. But anyway, this freak I haven't seen in a while, and all of a sudden he pops up on YouTube. Is Trump a fascist? And I say, what in the world? You know, this guy's about 4 foot nothing. I'm not kidding you. Just like Jeff Zuck, what's his name? Jeff Zucker from CNN. And I was going to put in the comments on this guy's video that Goebbels, under the Third Reich, he was in charge of propaganda. And they called him the malignant dwarf. So anyway, just a little bit of history. That's what they called Goebbels, a malignant dwarf. But anyway, here's Robert Reich. He has this video with 470,000 flipping views. Is Trump a fascist? So I didn't watch maybe 20 seconds. The question he poses is he a fascist or is he more of an authoritarian figure? Authoritarian type, or I guess alluding to tyrannical. He's either a fascist or he's tyrannical. You know, what a warped sense of being this person has. And he reflects so many other. He went to college with Bill and Hillary. They were buddies in the same dorm, him and Bill. I guess Bill put him on the shelf, like Elf on a shelf. I don't know. But anyway, this shows me they're pulling out and dusting off all the old crap. They're running out of ammunition. They're running out of people who people take seriously. And they're bringing out old tropes. But I'll tell you, this situation with what happened in Utah, we talked about it last night. And I was kind of looking to see if anybody on the left was going to chime in. Because we've got our notions on it, right? So I saw a couple of very brief news reports where, of course, this man was putting out terrible threats. And, the stuff he wrote was obnoxious. And I could see him having to answer for some of the things he had posted on social media. But certainly not with his life. They could have contacted the sheriff and said, look, this guy needs to answer for these posts he put up, and we got a warrant for him. Go down there and pick him up, and we'll send a couple of marshals down to get him out of your jail and bring him to D.C. or wherever. That could have been done. They could have sent his pastor in, anything but what they did. But anyway, my plumber Intel sent me a video I tried to copy, and I want y'all, it may be hard to listen to. 5 times on a short time limit, I edited it and jacked up volume. How you doing, cameraman? How you doing, Randy? Jax, how are you doing? Hi, Angel, how are you? Gloria. If I miss anybody, I do apologize. Broke your foot? Kathy, what's the matter? I tell you, I'm still struggling. That foot takes a long time to heal. A long time to heal. So anyway, let me get this video up here. Here is one young man's, on the right you see a young man who's going to give his view on the situation that happened in Utah. On the left-hand side, you see a picture I had in my studio last night, but I said I'm not going to get into it. But Dan Scavino put this picture up from somebody, Bill Mitchell. I've recruited an undercover agent to infiltrate the next Trump rally. His instructions are to blend in and gain their trust. And this is supposed to be funny. And one of the rules of the propaganda in the Third Reich was to dehumanize your opponents. And that way it would make it more easier for your useful idiots to have less of a conscience to do horrible things. So just keep that in mind. And like Dan Scavino said, this is what they think of you. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget it. So next to that, under that, I've got a picture of that Jack Posobiec posted of Craig Robertson, who organized a group of volunteers to build a ramp for a disabled neighbor. Now, he's the one in the forefront, kind of bending down, got his leg up. They say he walked with a cane. And he had a son who was blind that he cared for until not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, his son suffered a stroke. And that the FBI, I understand, had visited him in March. And so anyway, let me go ahead with this video. It's worth listening to, even. You got to put your ear close to the phone.
You heard about the guy in Utah, I'm sure by now. Threatened Joe Biden, right? 75 years old. He was born in 1948 when Harry.
I forgot to say, folks, there is a language warning on this. I do give out language warnings. I forgot, so I'm just mentioning it now.
Truman was the president. You know, it's funny. This guy was 2 years younger than my grandfather. He's still alive and kicking today. He's an ex-Marine, ex-state trooper. Somebody comes through the fucking front door of his family home, guns blazing, you can bet your ass he's going to protect his household. I could probably imagine that's what this old man was doing when his door got busted down. He probably grabbed his firearm for protection. They used that as an excuse to do what they did because he threatened Joe Biden. You know what? Joe Biden's starting to sound a lot like Adolf fucking Hitler. You got to help me make sense of this thing. You got a 75-year-old nobody in Utah supposedly making threats because he's lived through the good times and he's watching his country just fall. He's probably going to say some hateful things, and that's okay because it's America. Freedom of speech. Hell, let's rewind the clock, 2017, 2018-ish. A-listers would go live on television with their award shows making jokes about Donald Trump's life, or if the White House would blow up Madonna, or Kathy Griffin's beautiful picture holding a fake head of Donald Trump up. That's cool. That's accepted. No FBI went after that. That's a little more harsh, I'd say, than a 75-year-old man speaking his mind about the most worthless fucking president we've ever had in history. I say this with every inch of me. This is the most dangerous time to be alive and be a God-fearing, red-blooded American who just loves their country. It's gone. The old days are gone.
Yep. They showed up at the house with an armored vehicle and all kinds of hardware. People dressed up in full rattle gear or whatever they want to call it. And he was probably in bed. And hey, I saw a video where the police did a no-knock raid, and they went in the bedroom. This kid was laying in bed with the sheet over him, and he was startled and threw the sheet off himself. Pop, 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 pop. That was it. He had something that looked like a G-U and an N, right? And it turned out to be a remote control in the bed. When he flipped the sheet up, he had a remote control under the sheet. I saw the video. So anyway, this guy didn't stand a chance. They knew when they were going to get him. Now the ones doing the actual physical raid, I don't know. You know, some of them only know what they're told. And they could have been told Rambo's uncle was in there or something, armed to the teeth. You know, who knows? But I have no respect for anybody who would have known to contact the sheriff, contact anybody, and say, look, you got to answer for there's a warrant or charges or whatever for what you posted. And they made sure to say it was posted on Truth Social. So they're trying to dehumanize and make it okay, all right? Make it okay. So I put this up. Diamond Silk also made a post about this. I wonder if I got that in the studio, where they said the same thing. The same thing as the question being asked there. And as I was going through these things, look what somebody posted on Instagram. An updated version. Kathy Griffith put this on her Instagram. 33,965 likes. So you got Robert Reich, and then you've got all these nitwits that I've talked about in my last broadcast. A new one here, some goober I've never heard of. What they don't want you to know about Trump's third indictment. And they use, of course, a crummy picture of Trump. And this guy's like, yeah, it's some, I guess, no, he didn't get a click for me, but he's got 68,000 views. So it's this organized vitriol and misinformation. And as I mentioned in the past, attorneys were not even allowed to advertise their law firms, and that was not very long ago. For the life of our republic, it was deemed unseemly, and there were ethical questions about advertising your law firm in a phone book or in the newspaper or anything like that. It was a big to-do and hubbub. It's gone from advertising to these highly opinionated and misinformation that they put out. Here's this latest one from Midas Crap. I think I had this last night, but I didn't put it up. Breaking: Jack Smith proposes date for Trump criminal trial. And hey, if they're attorneys, this is a societal issue. This is about the body politic being able to go forward in a peaceful and civil manner, not for stirring up strife and vitriol. Do they mention anything about Donald Trump's response? Deranged Jack Smith has just asked for a trial on a Biden indictment to take place on January 2nd, just ahead of the important Iowa caucuses. Only an out-of-touch lunatic would ask for such a date, one day into the new year, and maximum election interference with Iowa. Such a trial should never take place due to my First Amendment rights and massive Biden corruption. Should only happen, if at all, after the election. The same with other fake Biden indictments, election interference. So, of course, they're not going to put anything up about that. So we got to get out here and talk about it. But as attorneys who are supposed to be officers of the court, some of these people do these videos aren't attorneys. Some of them are. But I would certainly hope part of this rebirth, this America 2.0, is that social media is gone over, and people who have acted in a way to incite vitriol or to spread falsehoods or to subvert our government through a coordinated method, they should lose whatever position of public trust or licensure that they have. What's this one now? Here, MSNBC. This is talking about Judge Eileen Cannon. Trump in Doc's case makes misguided argument. Who is NBC to tell a federal judge their argument is misguided? So, yeah, there's got to be a flushing of the commode. What's this one here? MSNBC again. Here we go. Fannie Willis responds to racist and sexist Trump attack ad. Well, I'm like, wait a minute. What are they talking about? And I came across the ad. Let me see. Oh, I got to go out of the studio again. It's not a big deal. Let me see if I can get that ad. Because I said, well, this has got to be it. after I saw it, and I said, well, I better copy that so I can show the peeps. Actually, I got another video I didn't know I had. Aha, I'll pull that up too. But anyway, let's see if it's this ad here. This is what Fanny, who got in some kind of a relationship with a gang member or members of a gang that she was supposedly investigating and trying to prosecute. So now she's got issues with a racist ad from Trump. Let's see what this ad is all about.
When did racism against white people become okay? Joe Biden put white people last in line for COVID relief funds. Kamala Harris said disaster aid should go to non-white citizens first. Liberal politicians block access to medicine based on skin color. Progressive corporations, airlines, universities all openly discriminate against white Americans. Racism is always wrong. The left's anti-white bigotry must stop. We are all entitled to equal treatment under law. America First Legal Pay.
Is that the ad she's talking about? That people can't be anti-white? Is that what it is? Well, I tell you, somebody put this up about an hour or so before I went live, and I posted it on my Truth Social, another video. And this is some military person I'm not familiar with, but I'll play this. But I'm going to give a caveat. Were you all able to hear that video good? Anyway, I'll play this, and but I say no. He doesn't deserve a court-martial or an impeachment. I said on True Social that he should be treated like a common criminal, a predator, and a subversive Marxist. Okay? He doesn't deserve the standing of a court-martial. But anyway, let me play this for you.
President Biden humiliated the United States. He humiliated the United States Army. In my opinion, and I don't say this lightly, and I've never said it about anybody else, any other leader in this position. People have been talking about impeaching President Biden. I don't believe President Biden should be impeached. He's the commander-in-chief of the US Armed Forces, who's just essentially surrendered to the Taliban. He shouldn't be impeached. He should be court-martialed for betraying the United States of America and the United States Armed Forces.
Well, he's a leader of a Biden crime family. His entry into that office is dubious at best. We know it's beyond dubious. It's worse than that. And this is a good meme that you may want to put in your quiver. But I want to repeat. If there's anybody out there that's a fence sitter, my dad told me a long time ago, when it comes to voting or making decisions about your country or whatever, just remember, he said, whatever they can do to somebody else at some point, they can and will do to you. So you all keep that in mind. The doubters, the people that don't like Trump, the people that are wondering what's going on. Just remember about this man that got a visit early in the morning. Probably asleep, woke up startled, just like the young man said. And there was nothing he would have done, could have done, I don't feel, that would have prevented what happened to him. But we all know this here. Fanny, don't get mad at me for putting this picture up because you're the one that said it. 5 days. Within 5 days, you put out a notice. Hi, Alicia. How you doing? Better late than never, right? Ha, ha, ha. That's what I say, Jax. He's crap mander in chief. Hi, Wanda. How you doing? Christina, hi. Mike's in the house. Said, what did he say? It's hard to read these chats. Yeah, it's everything in God's time. That's right. But, you got to watch what you do. I mean, what he did, he just gave them the perfect opportunity to make an example of him. The posts, and with the posts he put up, and with total control of the media to dehumanize him and say very little about his actual situation in life, the optics were too good for them to do anything other than what they did. That's why I said his fate was sealed. He didn't stand a chance. So, everything in God's time, and the people that are, I'll go ahead and say, armchair warriors. Don't put yourself in a position where you won't stand a chance. And in your mind, thinking, well, if they tried that with me, well, these people are vicious. And that so-called standoff, they drug him out in the street. Well, to a sidewalk on the street. Down his driveway or through his yard, and left him lay for hours, is what a neighbor said. Then they threw a sheet over him at some point, but she said it was very distressing for her children. She tried to keep them in the basement because it started fast and ended fast. And then he was out there like a bag of leaves while they were going through his personal belongings, tromping through his house. And I have to say, I saw some of the aftermath of it, them standing around talking. A bunch of slobs that assaulted an old man. And he didn't stand a chance. They made their mind up. So anyway, here we have another thing from Midas Crap. Whoa, where'd it go? Come back. There we go. Breaking news. John Eastman spills the beans, admits he planned for Trump to invoke martial law. Exclusive clip. So this clip must be a couple of years old. They dug it out. And a lot of them are saying Eastman's going to flip on him. Mark Meadows is going to flip on Trump. Well, let me tell you this. You daggone right, martial law was in consideration. It was under consideration for the Summer of Love, much less for what they did on November 3rd and January 20th, January 6th. Of course, any leader worth their salt would have a plan for martial law. But this is the path we're on. Educating the people, letting the people see just how dangerous these people are, what their beliefs are. Here's a video I'll play you. What kind of beliefs they have. And it's just a brief statement by Biden about what he thinks about our children. Everybody's child, okay? And I tacked a little something on the end of it.
Our fight is far, far from over because we have some hysterical and, I would argue, prejudice people who are engaged in all what you see going on around the country. It's an appeal to fear, and it's an appeal that is totally, thoroughly unjustified and ugly. It's wrong that extreme officials are pushing hateful bills, targeting transgender children, terrifying families, and criminalizing doctors. These are our kids. These are our neighbors. It's cruel.
The first trans woman to have a successful uterus transplant, ovaries and eggs included. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion. I will let a doctor who has successfully transplanted a uterine complex before cut the organs out of a willing, healthy, transmasculine donor, place them in my body. I will devote myself, heart and soul, to their aftercare. I will have as much gay sex as it takes with as many trans women as it takes, and let the transphobes and homophobes scratch their heads wondering what to make of it. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
So there you go, Joe. Call us a bunch of radicals, a bunch of sickos. Okay? I was going to put a clip on the end of this one of people, Joe Biden standing trying to make a speech and people actually saying FJB. But as you all know, I don't like using that kind of language. I might still do it, though, because I'm getting sick of this stuff. But anyway, the D.C., they're hollering about getting the National Guard to deploy in D.C. now. Isn't that funny? This article came out, and I had just shown a collage of articles from 2 years ago about the National Guard, Trump, the D.C. mayor, and all that stuff. So now they're back to hollering for it. But this Midas crap bunch is acting like it's some kind of big crime because John Eastman was talking about invoking martial law or bringing in troops. And a lot of people feel that would have been the best thing to do rather than have Biden take the oath of office. Well, people could feel that way. But I can guarantee you this. It would have been something that permanently or for a very long term divided our country, and it would have destroyed what was left of our economy. It would have led to a lot of violence in the streets and a lot of human suffering. And no one would know all the stuff that we've been working for the past, I don't know how many years, to bring from the dark to the light. We'd have been involved in a cacophony or cacophony, either way you say the word. The media at the time and even now, they're not totally against us now, but at the time, the opponent, I'll say, had total control over all the mainstream media. And it would have been a horrific thing. But it's not to say it's not going to happen. At some point, when it's more appropriate and safer. You got to roll with the punches, and you got to go with the flow sometimes. So we got a leak. Fani Willis seeks more than a dozen indictments against Trump. Conspiracy and racketeering charges will allow her to sweep multiple defendants. You know they're talking about Rudy Giuliani. You know they're talking about John Eastman, the one I just showed. And all of these indictments are, as the media puts them, they're novel. They're novel approaches. Well, the way I look at them, they're illegal. They're abuse of prosecutorial authority. And we'll see how it all plays out. They're digging a big SH and the rest of it is IT hole for themselves. And I let them keep digging. Because this, I've talked about this lawfare business getting flipped on its head. And it's going to get flipped on its head. But these examples, Jack Smith, whoever this guy is, I don't know. He gets 189 views. Teases a new nightmare news for Donald Trump and allies. No, I didn't click on it. I don't need to. They have got all their talking points. And I believe that those talking points are going to be traced out to who the puppet masters are. And anybody knowingly inciting vitriol or subverting the lawful function of government, they're going to pay a price. We watch under the law. Here we have it again. Whoops, what happened to that? Let me see. I'm going to pull something up here in a second, folks, get my studio to work. Here, they're trying to go after MSNBC. It's a big one, folks. That's a big one. That's Racial Mad Cow and all that bunch. A new ProPublica report is detailing the decades of lavish gifts Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has received. NBC News has reached out to Justice Thomas for comment Thursday morning, but didn't immediately hear back. So they just throw this crap out. You know, crap. You got a lot of gifts. Well, who the hell doesn't get gifts? And when you're in your 70s and had a distinguished law career, you hang around wealthy circles. You have birthdays. You have a Christmas, right? What's this? People like Donald Trump and Clarence Thomas, they shouldn't be allowed to have Christmases or birthdays. They shouldn't be allowed to run a business. They shouldn't be able to say hello to their sons. It's ridiculous. But, it's okay for Biden to say hello to his son 20-some times in the middle of Burisma business meetings. So I did put a comment on this video. I said, libel laws are very powerful. And left it at that. Let them figure it out. They're such big shots and they know so much. Oh, here you go. I meant to put this one up about that last video. Dear trans community, don't tell me I have to accept who you are when you couldn't accept yourself for who you were. That's right. Jack, CUK media. I played a couple of clips. Trump's as believable as a chocolate teapot. Yeah. Well, good thing you're over there. Let's see this one here. Oops. I've got one too many. I haven't put this one up. Wow, they say. Wow, minus crap. Trump's latest TV interview may have been his most insane yet. He looked scared, weak, and panicked. His lies especially unhinged. He's falling apart. Okay, so that's all a matter of opinion. But if it's coordinated effort to interfere with the election or to incite vitriol or to dehumanize people, much like I have already shown how they want to portray people. It's a lot easier to raid somebody's house when this is your view of them. Notice the drool on the shirt. That's how they want you to be. But we got people that, like this guy here. This might be a good one to put in your quiver. Post it on Facebook. Been out all day putting Trump stickers on rioters' cars, then sitting back watching them destroy each other's cars. That's right, Jerry. That's right. But I tell you, they're losing the black vote. They'll never get it back. Oh, Mr. T's got something up his sleeve. Awaken Trillium. You better believe that. Pappy Two Bears, how you doing? Remember Waco? Oh, yeah, I remember Waco. Yeah, and Ruby Ridge, Lone Wolf. Ruby Ridge. That's why I put in my thumbnail. Bodycams, ? Because, depending on how this thing went down, this may not be classified as a law enforcement action. Premeditated red rum. The man didn't stand a chance. There was nothing he could do pre-dawn, dark house, asleep. They rammed a vehicle through his picture window in his living room. So, I mean, and you watch a video where an 18-year-old with a remote control gets extinguished. Of course he didn't stand a chance. Let me see, what's this? The inauguration, here we go. We had to go through this. Now, I played this the other night. And a couple of people said they had never seen it before. It's not long. It's only about 3 minutes. This is actual footage. The person recording the video will say their name. This is the actual Biden inauguration. But listen to what he says and what he talks about. That was known January 20th, 2020. 2020. It's not a shock to us what's going on now, what's going to be coming out, and it wasn't a shock to the guy doing this report. You may want to listen to it. What he's saying, every bit of it was called, theories. Theories.
We're here at the inauguration. It's the most bizarre scene you ever saw in your life. There's like 100 people at the Biden inauguration. And it's dystopian. So, there's nobody here. There's like more people up here with the press overlooking the Capitol than there are at the inauguration. We're here with Fox News and CNN, and this guy Eric is great from TBN. He's a Middle East correspondent. Really great coverage. Conservative. So Again, it's freezing here. It's like 25 degrees. It's snowing. Kamala Harris and Amy Klobuchar just spoke. There are more people at the West Palm Beach airport waiting for Trump than there are here at the inauguration. Truly an incredible time in our history. You know, I've been to past inaugurations for W and Trump. You know, there were 500,000 to 1 million people at each event, and even Obama got close to probably 700,000 or something like that. It's eerie, you know. It's the first time Biden got thousands of people to his event, but they're all National Guardsmen who were forced to be here. There is no security threat down here. It's just a lie. And I think they brought in these 25,000 troops because Biden couldn't get enough people to his inauguration, and it's a cover. It's very sad. I was going to come on here and try to be funny, but I'm actually sad. This place is a ghost town. All of DC is a ghost town. Their businesses have been pummeled by these lockdowns and all these problems. And, you know, the truth is going to come out. So Biden's going to leave here and go over to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Then he's going to go to a big party run by Tom Hanks and his wife at the White House. Trying to hold back the vomit. But Real America's Voice News has the best coverage today. Steve Bannon and Raheem Kassam are on fire on the War Room. John Solomon got a document dump. And it's so incredible, the stuff coming out about the fact that Christopher Steele made up this whole thing as a cover. It's verified now. And the real story's coming out. That the whole Russia thing was a setup. So they're playing the national anthem at the Capitol right now. Again, there's nobody here. It's the weirdest, most strangest thing ever. And I wonder if we're ever going to be allowed to assemble outside of the Capitol and the mall again. So stay with us. Turn on americasvoice.news. We're the only ones telling the truth, except for one or two other networks. And we're going to stay with this, okay? I'll catch up with you. Ciao.
Okay, he mentioned the Steele dossier back then, almost 3 years ago. The media wasn't covering it. Nobody was covering it. Now they got to cover it. I got to play this video for you guys. You'll like this one. You'll like this one. Guy just making some sense. What kind of nation do we want? What kind of family constructs do we want? What kind of culture do we want?
Convicted child offender Jack Reynolds did an interview where they asked him what sort of characteristics did he look for in a child before targeting them. And he said, more important than the characteristics of the child, he looked at the characteristics of the family. The first thing he mentioned was that if he perceived the father to be a threat, he stayed away, which tells us a few things, dads. One, you better be a threat. But two, you better be present enough in your child's life to where they know you're a threat. And I would say it tells us one more thing that's very interesting. There's a lot of people right now that seem hell-bent to have sexual conversations with our children without our knowledge. Those are the same people telling us that the very things that make you a threat are manifestations of toxic masculinity. So maybe we shouldn't listen to those people.
That's right. Take a big sip of coffee. Ha ha. Yeah, we need to be a threat to those people. Like a parent should be a threat to a predator. Okay, a mama bear, a papa bear. Anyway, this is a viewer-supported, creator supported channel only. I don't get anything from anything other than the viewers and myself. And I've got to buy me a coffee link in the description. Anybody wants to help the channel out. He put that coffee up and that made me think about it. Ha ha. But anyway, I don't want to make anybody mad at me. I'm going to talk about somebody real quick. I was watching a video where they were having interviews with migrants who stayed on a barge for accommodations. They built these huge barges, and that's where they let migrants stay. And those things were immense. And I was going to get a screenshot of that, and maybe a clip, and talk about it. But I said, not going to do that. I had way too much going on. This is what I see. Boom. Now, I've talked about this, and I've talked about your precious time, my precious time. I said, well, maybe when all this stuff like what we just watched, the inauguration, we were all on pins and needles what was going to happen. We know the opponents were on pins and needles, didn't know what Trump was going to do. That's why Biden came with thousands of personal security, armed security he hired privately. We know that the Air Force, the military, had nothing to do with bringing him to D.C. He had to bring a private jet to get to D.C. Remember that, folks? So I could see back then, and I used to do it, sitting there watching the planes on the radar screen and speculating, is Air Force One? How come they don't call it Air Force One? And blah, blah, blah. But after almost 3 years, way before that, I'm telling people, give it a break. Spending an hour learning about whirlybirds and call numbers. If they don't want you to see it or know about it, you're not going to see and know about it. And neither is MonkeyWorks. I had the same app that he uses. So anyway, is this their plan for us? These barges. Don't even think that is any kind of plan for us, okay? I don't like scare tactics. If this is what that is, I don't like clickbait. If this is what it is, I don't know. I swore off this stuff a long time ago and put my mind at much more ease than it used to be. And that's I would suggest to you now to do. Because if they are building barges like this, and they have them, they're bigger than the one you see on the screen. They're like floating cities. But there's 370 million Americans, okay? Probably 200 million of them or 170 million of them have self-protection, if you know what I mean. No. If they build something like this, and they have built something like this, it's going to be for overflow. When they unseal those indictments, they've got over 250,000 of them, 250,000 of them. And I'm just saying, don't fall for it. Don't repeat that kind of stuff, especially to people who are just now getting in the game and learning, because it'll seem too fantastic or too scary when there's no need to be scared. This is who's got to be scared right here. People like him. And I'm not talking about Rand Paul. I said last night, Rand Paul put a criminal referral out for Fauci for gain of, and the other word is function, last year. He's put a second criminal referral up. And everybody's going, oh, criminal referral. They forget about the one a year ago. And the truth of the matter is, he's retired. He has no standing to receive security. He's not the president of the United States that out of office, he gets 24-hour security, but he's got marshals with him 24 hours a day, U.S. Marshals. And I'm thinking this guy is in some form of custody. He's been there for a while. Let me see. I got a notice. Oh, thank you, Marla. Ha ha. Oh, I can even read. I'm reading her name and her quote. That's the first. You rock, my man. Thank you for giving us great news. Ha ha ha. Thank you, Marla. I'm going to hit some. I'm going to see if I don't want to put a bomb in Rand Paul's face, but I can't control where my explosions go. So I'll do. Ha ha. Let me see. I got to do some fireworks. Thank you, Marla. Pow. Bang. Boom. Here, let me get a bird. I want to get to poop on Fauci. Here's a bomb. Pow! I'm going to do another one. Bang! So anyway, thank you, Marla, for helping out with buying me a coffee. Yeah, kicking bird. I just can't stand it anymore. Some of it's interesting, learn about wildfires, volcanoes, but it's broken record to me. Broken record. Oh, here's a good video, folks. Let me see if I can get this young lady up. I think I got another clip added to this one. Let's see. Let's see how this one plays. She's talking about Kash Patel and an old clip from Joe Biden. I think I tacked something on the end of this, too.
I love it. Kash Patel on Fox Business with Larry Kudlow. He said that Donald Trump now has power of a federal judge to subpoena people. Christopher Wray, Hunter Biden. I guarantee you that they're going to subpoena Joe Biden, and they're going to probably subpoena him for this state alone.
You guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
The part where he said, you guys, and he said, you guys helped put together this for the Obama administration before this. This is really going to freaking blow everything out of the water. If they can actually bring him on the stand to explain all this. I'd love to hear his explanation.
You know, I sit on a task force at the Department of Defense, and the thing is, they've got the goods. They've got the goods, and Trump knew that if he presented any of the goods early on, we'd have a civil war. That he really felt that the people needed to see how bad it could get.
Yeah, I thought it'd be good to add that little clip at the end. We got the goods. We got the goods, ladies and gentlemen. Here's I think this is this clip right here. This is Citizens Free Press said this was the funniest 10 seconds on CNN. It's only 10 seconds long.
If you think the United States should be supporting Ukraine in the fight against Putin, raise your hand.
Nobody. Nobody raising their hand. Everybody's going over fighting and dying for what? Fighting and dying for what? For the Bidens. The Biden billions. Let me see how everybody's doing in the chats. John, how are you doing? Says Republicans are stupid and corrupt. Well, use a, John, you're welcome to the chats. With curse words, we use let's see, with an I, you would use a star or something like that. Because I don't allow foul words in the chats, but I understand how you feel. And we use 3 for ease, like P3DO. We spell it P3DO. And we use A's for 4s. They look a lot like 4s, and it throws the rhythm off. Do I think 45 will be back this year? Well, I don't think we're supposed to know, and it could be. He would be back, I think, in some form. He said that before. There are chess pieces. There was another interview with the lady I just put the little short clip at the end there where she was saying there was a scenario for a constitutional replacement of the current administration with Trump being involved, namely by being nominated through the Senate, not the House of Representatives. So, yeah, anything's possible. And you never let the baddies know what you're doing. You never let the baddies know what you're doing. Isn't that a fair statement? Ha ha. Yeah, she said Trump needed the people to see how bad it could get, not how bad it really is. Well, how bad it could get, I think the real bad part would have been doing something on January 20th or doing something post-election, preventing this takeover. Like Mr. T said, the cure can't be worse than the disease. And I think he meant that for more than the CVID. The cure can't be worse than the disease. We would have cured the situation of the election being taken, right? If we would have declared martial law, prevented Biden from taking office, all that stuff. But we would have had tumult, and we would not know how deep and wide this corruption is. We would not be able to tag them, flag them, track them down, and then make a move when we've got them identified and ready to get rolled up. And we'd have this way we have an educated public, we have a calmer public, and people will be more accepting, and we will be better. The best is yet to come. This is how the best is yet to come gets here. It's a long march, but worth making. As I've said in the past, if freedom was easy, every country would have it. So, folks, I've gone over an hour. I want to leave you with this little ditty that I think you'll enjoy. I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. I do so much. And Marla, thank you for sponsoring tonight's program. And I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Anybody wants to help, I really appreciate it. I will be going live soon. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. And yeah, that's right. Larry had to lose in order for us to win. That's a good one. The PEDS. Lone Wolf said the PEDS. It makes a lot of the Presidential Emergency Action Documents. Hi, Ann. Oh, I saw Donna in there too. And Dottie. You guys are going to have to rewind and listen to it. So anyway, we'll say a little prayer for that poor man that lost his life. And I hope if anything happens that people do take it to heart that these people are dangerous, vicious, and they'll do any damn thing. And they think of us as less than human. And we're not going to give them any reason to be able to propagate that image. So That being said, folks, I'm going to play this little video for you. Y'all have a great night. This is Mountain Man over and out.
If I give you one message to hold in your hearts today, it's this. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider, because it's the outsiders who change the world and who make a real and lasting difference. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. You must keep pushing forward.